Some people are saying that rapture will happen on September 23rd, 2025 because of the Feast of Trumpets. Sounds convincing, right? Trumpets, end times, dates on the calendar, but that's not actually biblical. So why people are saying that the September 23rd is going to be the time when the rapture will happen? Well, every year people connect the Feast of the Tabernacles with the rapture because of the verses like the trumpet of God in 1 Thessalonians chapter 4. But here's the problem. They say the same thing in 2017, 2020, 2023, and nothing happened. Date setting keeps recycling. You must understand this about the Jewish feasts. They're actually powerful prophetic pictures. The Passover was Christ crucified, first fruits, His resurrection, Pentecost was when the Spirit was poured out, and there's 3 more feasts that are coming, and it's the Feast of Trumpets, Atonement, and Tabernacle. Now they do point to Christ, and they do point to God's redemptive plan. Trumpets is His second coming. The rapture of the church, which I believe is the same event. Also, the atonement is when Israel will repent and acknowledge Jesus as their Messiah. Tabernacles is when Christ will dwell, God will dwell with His people on earth in the millennial reign. So while they do point to Christ, they actually don't give us an exact calendar date for His return. Here is why September 23rd is not it. Jesus said in Matthew 24, verse 36, that no one knows the day or the hour. Paul in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 verse 3 talked about the Antichrist being revealed first before the second coming of Christ. And for those of you who watched my previous videos, you know that I believe, and there's a lot of scriptural evidence, that the rapture of the church and the coming of Jesus is the same event. So if somebody tells you that there's an exact date for the rapture of the church, they're actually going against Jesus Himself and against the biblical eschatology. How should we live? So instead of guessing dates, the Bible tells us to win souls. The Bible tells us to live ready because there's a high chance you might meet the Lord before He comes, because people die every single day. We ought to live holy. We ought to be watchful and expectant, and we ought to be steadfast in the work of the Lord. So will rapture happen on September 23rd, 2025? No one knows. But one thing is certain: Jesus is coming. Don't set dates. Live ready. Follow me for more truth to help you live prepared.